Welcome back, my wasted youth. This is Rev taking you through Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition, the right way. When last we left our intrepid hero, I left you fishing in the Safari Zone. Now, off screen I caught 14 Goldines and Poliwags. Now, that's okay. It isn't the 20 I wanted, but that's totally fine. Now, in this area, we are going to find a ton of, well, everything. Without a doubt, this is the best place to catch everything. Now, my suggestion is save after every single time you catch anything. Now, here is kind of how the Safari Zone works. If I throw a rock, it will make the Pokemon easier to catch. Here's the problem, though. It will also make them want to run away. Okay, not a problem. We need to keep them where they are, so I could throw bait. I don't know what Pokemon eat, but it's bait for Pokemon. Okay, that's fine. Now, the problem with this, though, is it effectively makes their evasion go up, which makes it harder to catch, and they will stay around longer. So it is kind of, you know, the 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I think it's just easier to sit back on throwing Pokeballs. Now, that is the plan. So, here's a Rhyhorn. We are definitely going to want this one. Can we catch it? Hey, perfect, man. Just like that, we caught our very own Rhyhorn. That is great. Now, like I've said, after every time you save a Pokemon, well, catch a Pokemon, save your game. Now, in this area, what you're going to run into are Nidoran males, Nidoran females, and one of these. Now, we haven't actually seen this before, so wait a second. What is Parasect?
Parasect, the mushroom Pokemon. It battles using poison spheres that spread from the mushroom canopy on its back.
Parasect is a bug and grass type that can evolve from Paras at level 24, by which point it's already learned Scratch, Stun Spore, and Leech Life. At level 30 it will learn Spore, at 39 Slash, and at level 48 it will learn Growth. Though Parasect's stats are a huge increase from those of Paras, this one is still not worth the trouble of raising it. It has a high HP and a good attack strength, but unfortunately it is still a dual type, specifically bug and grass, meaning this thing is really only good against psychics. It can learn quite a number of TMs, including Toxic as well as Dig. However, even though this one is an evolved form of Paras, by this point in the game, almost every other second evolutionary form is going to rip right through this thing. It has a defensive disadvantage to Fire, Ice, Poison, Flying, Rock, and Bug. As a bug type, it has an offensive advantage to Grass, Poison, and Psychic. As a grass type, it has an advantage to Water, Ground, and Rock. And no real surprise, Parasect's name came from the words parasite and insect. Okay, now that's perfect. Now, so all we're going to do, again, is just sit back on Safari Balls. We're going to throw them till we catch it. And, man, that was perfect. Now, like I've said, this is going to be, without a doubt, the best spot to catch Pokemon. Now, why is that? Well, it turns out that all you're really doing is paying $500 to catch as many as you can. Which is perfect. It's possible you can catch 20, but it's also possible you can come up with absolutely none. Now, as well as Nidoran males and females, you're also going to run into Nidorinos, Paras, as you've seen, Parasect, and then the few new ones. We will only find EXEGGCUTE and Rhyhorn in this area, and what you're going to see is things like EXEGGCUTE, Rhyhorn, as well as Chanseys and Tangellas. Now, everything in the Safari Zone is kind of set up in a bit of a different way. Now, the whole Safari Zone is broken down into 4 areas, and each one of those 4 areas is going to have different Pokemon you can catch. So what I've listed already is just the Pokemon that you're going to find in the area that I'm currently walking in. And the levels are going to be a little confusing as well, as you've seen from my fishing from last episode. levels can be as low as level 10, but in the Safari Zone they can also get up to around level 37 or 38, so I mean they're all across the board. Right now, however, we are still looking for a Chansey and a Tangela, but the fact of the matter is, both of them can definitely be caught in other areas of the Safari Zone. So, in this case, I actually think it's probably better just to move on and see if we can catch them in other areas. Now, it's not that they're going to be easier to catch in other areas, but you never know. We could actually just get lucky. Now, here, of course, is one of the Pokemon that we're looking for. This is a Marowak, you know, just like Cubone's mother. So, now we do definitely want this one. Let's hope we can catch it. And, hey, perfect, man. Just like that. That is exactly what we've done. Perfect. Yeah, man, that's great. So now all of a sudden, we're only really looking for one more Cubone, and then, of course, you know, one to trade. No, I don't want to, and that's fine. So we have now got a brand new Marowak, and so that's great. Now, is there anything up here? Well, not really. See, we are still looking for stuff, and we are going to find it. In all of the Safari Zone, you have got 500 steps. Okay, not a problem. But if you're going to look for Pokemon, you're never going to pick everything up. But in that 500 steps, you will be able to get to the end of it. Okay, now, TM37 is Egg Bomb. Now, we're not going to be using that, but that's okay. Now, here's one of those Cubones that we wanted. So let's see if we can catch this one. And it looks like we've caught it, and that's perfect. So all of a sudden, we are now down to only needing one more Cubone. Perfect. And if we really want to, this is the one we can trade. We'll see. Okay, now we are not going to be using Egg Bomb, though it is pretty good, just not for any Pokemon that we're going to be going with. In this area, which now we are in, the second area of the Safari Zone, you are going to be able to find both Nidoran male and female, in this case, Nidorina. And you're going to be able to find EXEGGCUTE, both Cubone and Marowak, as well as Chansey and a few brand new ones that we've never seen before. So let's take a few more trips around this little patch of grass just to see what we can find. But then we should probably continue on our way. Now, in this case, what I'm doing is I'm not resetting anything or anything like that. Remember, this is this is not an emulator. This is an outright cartridge, which means some of this stuff is going to be very difficult for me to catch. But I also want to show all three ways of getting kicked out or leaving the Safari Zone. You know, man, I've caught a lot. I mean, oh really? Is that why you're hanging out in here doing nothing? Okay, that's fine. Oh, did you? Where could you have possibly caught a Chansey? Because, man, those things are tough. Oh, okay. Well, I totally understand that. Come on, Pikachu, let's see if we can go get our own Chansey. These guys. Now, there are certain spots in certain areas that will kind of increase the catch rate for certain Pokemon. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But now, wait a second. What is TAUROS?
TAUROS, a wild bull Pokemon. When whipping itself with its three tails, its tackle is a powerful destructive force.
TAUROS is a normal type that does not evolve. At level 1, it's going to learn Tackle. At 21, it'll have Stomp. At 28, it'll learn Tail Whip. And at 35, it will learn Leer. TAUROS is really a mixed bag for a normal type. It has a huge HP, high attack, and defense, and is very fast. The only real problem I can see with this one is the fact that it doesn't learn any really good attacks on its own. But TAUROS can learn a variety of TMs that can cause it to learn moves like Fire Blast, Blizzard, Rest, Earthquake, Thunder. Man, it's all over the board. It has a defensive disadvantage to fighting types and an offensive advantage to nothing. And TAUROS's name is absolutely no surprise at all. See, Taurus is Latin for bull. Oh, perfect. This is another one of those I've never been able to catch at things. So we are going to try, but hopefully this Taurus will not run away. Can we catch it? Hey, perfect, man. We actually did. Man, that is great. Exactly what I wanted. Yeah. Great. So, now with only one brand new we haven't seen it Pokemon in this area, man, that's brilliant. Now, the other thing you can do is if you take a look at your start menu, you'll see how many steps that you've got left and how many Pokeballs you've got left. So it's always a good way to keep track. Now, for me, like I've said, I would actually like to kind of be thrown out of this area. So, all we're going to do is just continue and see what we can catch. Or at least run into. Now, in this case, and yes, I realize I haven't really been looking at any of these signs. Oh, we will. That's okay. Now, even the Pokemon that I'm missing, the one that we haven't even seen yet, you can actually find in this area. See, now we're actually in the third area of the Safari Zone. Now, here you're going to be able to find Nidoran male and Nidoran female. Nidorinas. You're also going to be able to find Exeggcutes, Cubones, Rhyhorns, and even Chanseys. But we're also going to be able to find 3 Pokemon that are going to be extremely tough to catch. Yeah, definitely. And no real surprise, one of them is definitely my own arch nemesis. And that's okay. Now, in this case, this is the first way we can be kicked out of the Safari Zone. What we did is we just walked 500 steps, so they are kicking us out. Thank you. Unfortunately, that is now all the time we have for this episode. This has been Rev taking you through Pokemon Special Pikachu Edition the right way. Thanks for watching. Till next time.